another drunk review.
Uh-oh.
We're not sponsored by Truly, but we should be. And today, it looks so, I don't know, weird. The lights look weird. Well, that looks like I'm being interrogated.
There you go.
I don't know if that's better. Today, we will be talking about Drive Angry.
Drive Angry, a.k.a. quite possibly the greatest movie ever made.
Also, I bought new lipstick at Target today, and I wanted to put it on, but I waited until after I'd had a couple of drinks, so I apologize if it doesn't look good.
Well,
that's neither here nor there. I took notes. As per usual, notes were taken. I had notes. There were a lot of notes. This is your blanketed warning that there will be spoilers for a
10-year-old
movie starring Nicolas Cage and Amber Heard.
Yes.
And that guy from Twilight. Bella's dad from Twilight is in this, everyone. I think he had a good working relationship with Summit Entertainment at the time.
Is that William Fichtner?
I don't know his real name. What's it?
The accountant?
No, Jonah.
Oh, Jonah? No, not him. But William Fichtner is the accountant. And oh boy.
I know him
I love the accountant.
As the guy from Prison Break. So I will be referring to them. Do you think I bothered to learn these people's names? I'll be referring to them as Amber Heard,
Piper,
Nicolas Cage,
John Milton,
Bella's dad from Twilight,
Jonah,
and the guy from Prison Break.
The accountant. So, uh-oh.
I don't know what's happening. I think he's broken. Anyways, hi Brandy. We see you in the chat. All right, so let's dive into this in a somewhat chronological order, because Lord knows I don't do good at staying on in order. But this movie is a real doozy. We're gonna start off with my first complaint, which is, so we start off and basically whatever, again, spoilers, Nicolas Cage has come back from hell, and Brandy, I must sell you.
This is the greatest movie of all time.
That's maybe an overstatement.
No, this is the greatest movie of all time.
So I have a genuine question. If you order black coffee, to me that just means black coffee. I think it's weird that he ordered black coffee with sugar. And
not just sugar, like he poured a shitload of sugar into it.
So I know this is a weird thing to get hung up on, but anyways, essentially, so it starts off, Nicolas Cage is back from hell, and he's, just to get everyone up to date, he's on a vengeance because they killed his daughter a couple days ago, and they have stolen his granddaughter, and he's ready to take down this guy and drink out of his skull. And by this guy, I mean Bella's dad from Twilight, because Bella's dad from Twilight is like a weird Satan worshiper. Okay, so this is very important. So
carved tattoo.
Nicolas Cage is ready to get this guy and save his granddaughter. So he starts off by basically going to this. Well, the movie starts, he's killing some people. That's not important. That was kind of blah.
But there's a fantastic explosion with him walking away without looking, which is right there immediately. You're 3 minutes into the movie. I'm already sold on this being an Academy Award contender right there.
I'm not sold. What sells me though is this diner scene. So this is where we meet Amber Heard, and
Piper.
She's like wearing cowboy boots, so like they're like, she's from Texas, y'all, and like everyone's like trying to do a southern accent in this movie to like varying degrees of success. So she's there, and at first I thought they were going to try to make her Nic Cage's love interest, and I'm happy to report that does not happen, because I was like, ew, age difference. Like, that could be his daughter. And the thing where his age difference is, he's looking at me because we have an age difference, but ours is not gross. like Nic Cage and Amber Heard would be. So I don't know why you just gave you that look. But anyways, so there's nothing wrong. Age is just a number, but like don't date someone that could be your dad. That's just the moral I live by. So they're in this diner and she's complaining to this other waitress, and we're gonna call her horny waitress because that's essentially her role. She goes over to Nicolas Cage, who has hideous hair in this movie, but what else is new?
His hair is fantastic.
Debatable. And she's all like, what can I do for you besides jumping your bones? And Nic Cage is like, black coffee with sugar, which then is not black coffee, but whatever. I guess there's enough
There's
sugar in her.
this much
sugar.
It's still pouring.
Makes out with her, and then literally like takes a sip of his coffee while he's making out with her and bitches her out because there's no sugar. So that's how this starts. Then there is a the lyrics of this song are "Fuck the Pain Away." Amber Heard quits her job. She gets in her Charger and she sings this song.
The pain away.
I don't know if this is a real song, if it's the song that was made for this movie, but
fuck the pain away.
It's not good. Also, then the accountant shows up, aka the dude from Prison Break. And
the best character in the movie.
And the waitress also appears to want to bang him. So does she just want to bang everyone? I'm not really sure.
I think she does.
We go and meet Amber Heard's fiance, who of course is cheating on her, and it's terrible because we need her, to get on the road to drive angry with Nicolas Cage. So they like beat up the thing. At first I thought that Nicolas Cage killed him with an air conditioning unit, but evidently that did not happen. I'm not gonna lie, this movie starts a little slow for me. It definitely picks up later. That's where like shit gets real, to put it bluntly. That's all I gotta say about that.
Well, it doesn't take super long to get to the bowling ball.
True. We're gonna get to that. But first, Amber Heard just had a day, right? And she's on the road now with Nicolas Cage and his bad hair. And they drive to Oklahoma.
Bad hair.
And they decide to go to this like country western bar-ish place. And they do my biggest pet peeve ever in life. And they sit down and they order beer. Well, what do you have? Beer. What do you have? Yeah, I'll have beer too. That's not a human being order something. That's not a thing. If you don't have the rights to say Budweiser in your movie, make up an effing beer. Fast and Furious did it. They made like a fake Corona. Just make up a beer so they can order something. You don't just go and sit down and order beer unless you're from freaking South America. And then in which case, what is happening in South America? Do they just have one beer in every restaurant you go to?
And it's just Stella.
I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about this. So they order beer. And then this is where I get really confused because Amber Heard is one who wanted to stop in this bar, right? And then she sees this good-looking guy, and suddenly she's like, I'm going to go to the hotel across the way. Have my beer for me, Nicolas Cage. And then this is where the shit hits the fan, okay? Because there is a scene, Nicolas Cage fully dressed. Okay, he's smoking a cigar. A woman is banging him in the seedy hotel room. Like, I shit you not. This is a legitimate thing that happens in this legitimate movie that went to legitimate movie theaters.
In 3D.
Around the nation / world, I guess. Yeah.
In 3D.
In 3D. So here he's just banging this woman, right? Smoking a cigar in bed. And I wrote it down because she asks why he is not taking off his clothes. And he says, I never disrobe before a gunfight. And that is when
it's good advice.
These people that are following Bella's dad, Bella's dad from Twilight, who now is a Satan worshiper, apparently.
Jonah King.
They come in, they bang into the room. Get it? So they bang into the room.
Bang. A bangity bang. Instead of bang, bang, bangity bang. Instead of bang, bang. Bangity bang. Instead of bang, bang, bangity bang. Woo!
So they bang into the room. And he says that. And while he is literally still having sex with this woman, this random strange woman, he just starts killing people. he kills people.
It's one of the greatest scenes I've ever seen in my life.
No, but it happened. I saw it with my own 2 eyes, and if I had to see it, you all have to see it too.
Seriously, if you have not seen Drive Angry, I know you're watching this stream right now, and I want you to keep watching the stream, but drop everything once the stream is done and watch Drive Angry.
It's half sex scene, half violent gun battle.
It is so phenomenal. There are so many amazing things that happen in this movie. I can't even begin to describe it. Then
they escape this, and there's this whole, I don't know.
It's on Tubi. You don't even have to pay for it.
So then they go, and the accountant dude, whatever, prison break guy.
William Fichtner deserved an Oscar for this role.
I wouldn't know that.
He understood this movie more than anyone else in this movie.
I'm not gonna lie.
He knew what this movie was.
He may have out Nicolas Cage,
and that's an accomplishment. William Fichtner was just absolutely delightful in this role.
Why do you know his name?
He's been in some other stuff.
No, I know that, but like I don't know his name.
Yeah, well, you do realize that
Why do you know things like William Fichtner, but then I'm like, hey, remember that story I told you 5 times and you don't remember that? I think
you do realize that I talked about this movie with Sean Lindblade and Jesse Swift like 2 weeks ago. So
name dropping over here. Whatever, I'm gonna be on that show too. Suck it. Okay, so
plug alert.
Next Saturday, if you would like to watch Shark Jumpers,
she's gonna be on Shark Jumpers with Jesse Swift. So yeah.
Watch that. Anyways, back to my notes. So I don't even know. So whatever. So basically, we get rid of this. Let's talk about the stuff we want to talk about. We're not going to go in chronological order.
Yeah, that's what I like about this.
This is what I really want to talk about.
It's trope review.
So Nicolas Cage, let me just reiterate, his escape from hell, okay?
Yes.
And apparently in hell, he's like, there's a scene where he's like watching the fire, and he's talking about like the worst parts of hell isn't the fire, it's the having to watch these people, whatever. And so in the direct quote, he talks about how he watched his tree-hugging son-in-law get murdered. And then he watched his daughter, who he loves, get murdered. And then that's when, Bella's dad from Twilight, like, takes this baby or whatever, because he wants to take this baby to be the sacrifice because he wants hell on earth, right? So anywho, the important part of the story is I just don't know why that was like needed for them to be like my tree hugging son-in-law who wore sandals. And it reminded me of the best dining experience we've ever had.
The greatest night of my life.
No offense, John Mulaney.
Aside from my wedding.
Thank you. No offense, John Mulaney, for your greatest dining experience we've ever had, but I'm gonna up your greatest dining experience. And we went to this place called Manny's, which is a chop house. So it's like lots of meat, right? And I don't eat meat. So I like going there for their salad. It's a really good salad. And they like toss it at the table in the dressing, and it's good. So he likes meat, and my friend likes meat, and funny words. and they go to eat at this place, and I can get the salad and this big sweet potato, and it's so good. So we go to order, and I'm like, I'm going to be weird, and I'm going to get, I'm going to eat his salad, and I'm going to get this sweet potato. And this lady, her name was Jo, and I'll never forget her. And I hope that wherever she is she's doing great. So I go to order my potato. My friend feels the need to explain why I'm eating a potato, right? Like, it's not because I'm cheap or whatever. It's because, like, I don't eat meat. And so she's like, oh, she's vegetarian, but she's nice enough to come with us, blah, blah. And so she goes, my son used to be normal. He used to be the quarterback. He used to lift weights. And then he married a vegan. And then you can't be normal if you're vegan. Like, you can't play football. So then he orders his food, which is like meat on meat, And she's like, good for you. So she leaves after 100% judging me. And she puts in her order, and she comes back to check on us later. And she goes, and I can't explain to you the disgust this woman asked me this question. How's your potato?
It was the greatest dining experience of all time. I wish I could retroactively go back and tip her more. I left her like a 25% tip. I wish I left her more.
So during the pandemic, they closed down that Manny's location, and I think about this woman all the time. You don't understand. I hope she's doing good. I love her. So this movie, when Nic Cage is judging his tree-hugging, sandal-wearing son-in-law, all I could think of that lady and how she hates her vegan daughter-in-law. And it was really good. But essentially, okay, wait. We have to talk about, so Bella's dad from Twilight, who's a crazy Satan worshiper, killed Nicolas Cage's daughter, right? Like we stated that, and like that's why he's back and whatever from hell. So anyways, there's this one scene where they're in like this church or whatever, and he has this like fever bone cane, and he's like, "This is your daughter's fever bone. I carry with me everywhere." Like, how did she died like 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
Like, how did you already like disintegrate her body to get her fever bone to make it into a cane? Like,
it's pretty impressive. Like, who's his cane maker? I want to know who his cane maker is.
He's like, I carry this around with me everywhere. Like, he's had it for like
for
20
2 days.
It's been 2 days, buddy. Woohoo! How's your potato?
How's your potato?
That's not impressive that you carried this cane around with you everywhere for 2 whole effing days. Bella's dad from Twilight. Like, you know, and so that's just. Also, this guy wears this like weird pentagram like necklace thing because he's like a crazy devil worshiper or whatever, right? But Nicolas Cage's daughter stabs him in the face with it. And then Amber Heard later in the movie stabs him with it. And I'm like, why the hell is this guy still wearing this necklace? Like, dude, it clearly it's not working out for you.
Sentimental value, you know? He's got his relationship with Satan, and, you know, it means something to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't even know. But then okay. So this guy, what was his name? Webster, right?
Which one?
Webster, is that his name? The guy who like is Nicolas Cage's friend.
Oh yeah. The torture driver.
Yeah. So he meets up with them.
He's great, by the way. He's great.
And saves the day, and they have Amber Heard, and that's when they have like the dramatic reveal. He's staring at the fire, and he's talking about his time in hell, and he talks about the tree hugging son-in-law and whatever. And then essentially what happens is he goes into his shop, and he's got these cars ready to go, and it's straight up like Too Fast, Too Furious reveal. Like
this needs to be a crossover.
Singing some Luda.
There needs to be a crossover. Fast and Furious meets Drive Angry, where like Dominic Toretto meets the demons from hell and drives.
First of all, I'd watch it. Second of all, I think Universal is already penning the script for the 10th movie, and that
they probably are.
What have they've done space and submarines and
supercharged
everything. So I think they're probably going to hell next. But all I know is that seems it was very much
goes to hell, starring Paul Walker.
Like.
Yes, this pretty much was, you know, like hard R-rated third Ghost Rider movie. Yes, 100%. This essentially is the spiritual successor to Ghost Rider. 100%. Well,
I think my favorite bit of this entire movie, I mean, a lot of it.
Oh, this movie's fantastic.
But
like, seriously, if you have not watched this, it's on Tubi. You don't have to pay for it. Watch this damn movie.
I think the Webster bits might be my favorite because we get some of the tree-hugging son-in-law line. We get the Too Fast, Too Furious reveal where I felt like Luda should have been playing representing the dirty South. When we get one of the best lines, which, you know, so Webster comes out to try to offer him a beer or whatever, and he goes, I wrote this down because it's so good. He goes, I'm gonna try it. I can't do a Nicolas Cage impression, let's be honest. Thank you, Webster. That sounds like Batman.
Thank you, Webster.
Thank you, Webster. Don't think I'll be having that beer right now unless I'm drinking it out of Jonah King's skull.
And that foreshadowing.
It's foreshadowing. And then, okay. So there's like cops involved because like they killed a couple cops because the prison break guy like basically told these two cops. His motivations were all over the place in this movie. He's against Nicolas Cage and then suddenly he's like team Nicolas Cage later on. I don't know. It's very confusing. But
he's the fucking accountant. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
But essentially there's like this police captain guy and he comes in.
Oh, he's great.
And so they're like setting up this roadblock, right, for Nicolas Cage and Amber Heard, you know? Yeah. And oh my God, there are so many times, y'all, like you don't understand. Like Nicolas Cage just like without saying anything, like Nicolas Cage he's like, and he like stares and you're like, oh, Nicolas Cage, you know? Like he brought his like most Nicolas Cage-isms in this film. He was there, he was doing it. But so they set up this roadblock, right? And so he's doing this whole thing about like, so they killed a couple of their own and or whatever. And so he's like, I'm gonna need you to aim for the tires. But he like
aim for the tires. Aim for the tires.
He says tires so funny. He goes, and by tires, I mean aim for their heads. And so then they stop, right? Because there's a roadblock that can't go anywhere. And he's like, I'm gonna need you to get out of the car. And he goes, get to a better view of their tars.
Aim for the tars.
And it's just how many times the line "aim for the tars" is said. I can't even. It's so good.
So speaking of like how many times, like I challenge everybody who watches this review to watch this movie and just take one sip of your favorite beverage anytime you think there is a scene that was specifically shot for 3D.
I wouldn't do that unless your favorite beverage does not contain alcohol.
So I was on Jesse Swift's show, Shark Jumpers, and we discussed this. And we all Jesse, Sean, and I decided that all of us, the biggest shark jump moment was all of us not seeing this in theaters in 3D. And this is one of the biggest regrets I've ever had in my life. I'm not gonna lie. If I could rewind to 2011 and go to that midnight show the night that it opened and see Drive Angry in 3D,
midnight train to
that would have been one of the greatest experiences of my life. I really wish I had done that. 2021 Mike is really mad at 2011 Mike for not going and seeing that movie at midnight in 3D. And most times I hate 3D. Most times I genuinely hate 3D. This movie would have been so much better in 3D.
Well, you could have seen the tars.
The tars.
If it would have seen it. Tars. There were some good tars. So what we're all waiting for here because, obviously Nic Cage has established that he will only drink beer if it is out of Bella Swan's dad, Charlie's head. So we get to the final showdown. They're gonna try to sacrifice this baby, and the accountant guy is again now for some odd reason on Nicolas Cage's side, and so they're there. And
he's not on anybody's side. He's on his own side. He specifically says that. He's like, if that happens, I win. If that happens, I win. He specifically says that.
They have this gun. And apparently it can kill anything.
It's Satan's gun.
Even people from hell or whatever. And it just poofs you. You don't go to heaven, you don't go to hell. You're out of existence, right? And so they make this big deal earlier in the movie about how long it takes to load. And Nicolas Cage tells Amber Heard that she needs to drive because he's
drive angry.
Yeah, he's like, I need you to drive angry. Which is the license plate on her car, because obviously it is. So he tells her to drive.
And she breaks for pussy.
Because he needs to, load this gun or whatever. And you can only load one bullet at a time. This is established in this movie. Well, anyways, Amber Heard comes and tries to kill someone. Well, she does. She successfully kills a guy, but not the guy she wanted to. But she kills someone. And then the gun is just laying on the floor. Nicolas Cage does not have any time to go and, reload it. But he is still able to kill Bella's dad. So he kills him, the big bad of the movie. He gets it. And then he was able to save his granddaughter. Yay. Granddaughter's going to go live with Amber Heard and Webster at the tow truck place, I guess. Also, as someone who was a fan or was a fan or whatever of Supernatural, which also had a lot to do with like crossroad demons and heaven and hell and blah, 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 blah. Why is there always like a family friend who's a tow truck driver? Why is that like a trope of like things about hell? That literally just popped in my head right this minute when I said it. So I was like, oh yeah, it's a tow truck driver. It's very, anyways. So the gun is laying on the ground. And Nicolas Cage just grabs it and is able to kill Bella's dad. And he did not, and it's only allowed to have one bullet at a time. This was established earlier in the movie. Okay. I have been drinking and I can remember that was established, but the makers of this movie could not remember that had been established. So he kills him, and it's the most like dramatic death. And it just like, you see his like skull shatter in slow motion and like all of this stuff, right? Because earlier he was offered a beer and he said he would only drink a beer if it was out of this guy's skull. So guess what, everyone? You guessed it. That is how this movie ends. He gets to drink a beer out of this guy's skull.
And my favorite part about all of this is that when he's drinking out of his skull, you clearly see at one point most of the beer coming out of the eyelid, and he's still drinking for many moments after that. So it's like this thing is poured out of his skull, but then he's still able to drink without putting more into it. It's fantastic.
Also,
I love it.
Some more technical questions. So if Nicolas Cage has been dead for quite some time, because they make this big deal about how he's been dead, he's been in hell, and he, you know, his ID is ancient. But like when he came back to life, why, or whatever, or undead, whatever he is, why did he even have a wallet with an ID in it? Like, how did he get his wallet? You get to keep your wallet in hell? Like, that's nice of Satan. That's considerate that he lets you keep your wallet.
You know, why would Satan not let you keep the wallet?
But like, don't your artifact, when all your artifacts stay on
and what's not to say like he came back to Earth and like went and got his wallet? Who knows? We don't know that.
More importantly, so this is a thought I had while watching this movie, and I didn't even tell him this yet because I wanted him to hear it fresh on here on Drunk Review. So we're watching the movie, and Piper, Amber Heard's character, I did remember it. I just refused to acknowledge that these people had names in this movie because
Amber Heard.
It's Amber Heard. And Amber Heard at her most like 2011 Amber Heard, like the early 2010s were a time. Anyways, so essentially this whole movie, whatever, it starts off, she's working at this diner with her cowboy boots and she has this terrible fiance and
right.
You know, blah, blah, blah. And so she has this whole like monologue about how she like doesn't have a purpose in life and she's found this purpose in helping this dead guy from hell, I guess, whatever, like help save his granddaughter. I don't even know. It's this whole weird thing. And so then of course at the end, you know, like what has to happen? Nicolas Cage has to go back to hell, right? Like he's got to drink out of Bella's dad's skull.
He gets to ride with the accountant, though. I want to be on that ride.
And he has to go back to hell. So there's this big dramatic moment, and you know, and so the whole movie she's trying to find herself or whatever. And that's when I thought, is Nicolas Cage Amber Heard's E.T.? Like, is that what this movie is essentially? Because at the end, I half expected him to be like, "I'll be right here," and maybe because in life I can compare anything to E.T., but I was like, is that the purpose of this movie? Is this girl is lost and doesn't find her way, and then E.T. comes down and helps her, and then she carries on my wayward son. Another Supernatural reference for all you
carry on my wayward son. But hold on. So it's E.T., but E.T. forcing an adoption on somebody.
Kind of, yeah. It'd be like if E.T. had a little E.T. baby, a little E.T. grandbaby. E.T. grandbaby.
What would that be to Botanicus?
Well, Botanicus is his teacher. It would be like if E.T. forced Elliot to hang out with Magdoll or Orbidon or somebody. It's a reference for all you theme park nerds out there. Welcome home, you've arrived. Who knew that the Drive Angry Drunk review would turn into
an E.T. Love Fest?
E.T. Love Fest. Bad love to you, E.T. and all his friends on the Green Planet.
You want to know what I found like last week? I literally found a vinyl copy of the E.T. soundtrack. Hold on, I gotta grab this.
Can I get my give me the poster? Well, wait. I think I'm just saying. I think that Nicolas Cage was Amber Heard's E.T. Tell me I'm wrong. Matt, you know my name now. Hi, Matt.
What's up, Matt?
Hi.
But
happy to have you here. So we found this when we were in North Carolina this past weekend. And it's very excited, but waiting for it.
This is phenomenal. Like, I can't even begin to describe this.
You're welcome for the nightmares you're about to have.
And not only that, but there were 2 of them in it. We have 2 of those.
So good.
There's 2 of those posters in this.
I'm just saying, why is there not a poster of Amber Heard and Nicolas Cage like that? Because that's the vibe of this movie.
Going back to this E.T. vinyl, it has Michael Jackson narrating the story of E.T. on this vinyl.
Narrated by Michael Jackson, produced by Quincy Jones, music by John Williams. It's like the song and story of E.T. on vinyl.
This might have been the best $23 I've ever spent. We aren't 100% certain yet. We haven't listened to it yet, but I think this might have been the best $23 I've ever spent in my life.
We might have to go listen to it right now, to be honest with you. But man, that poster.
And we got 2, like, for whatever reason, I don't know how this happened. And the guy, the store told me this. He's like, yeah, like this, for whatever reason, we bought this and there was 2 posters in it. It's like, somebody must have had 2 of them and accidentally put the other one into this or whatever. So he's like, that poster is probably worth more than the price you're paying for this. I'm like, let's do this.
Anyways, we watched Drive Angry.
It's the best movie ever.
It's a movie.
It's the greatest movie ever made.
What was your favorite part?
Oh, when he's drinking out of the skull. And he's drinking out of the skull, and
the beer does go in.
It just keeps coming to the eye socket, and he still keeps drinking. Either that, or the part where he's nailing the waitress and just shooting everybody. I mean,
while smoking a cigar, and
smoking a cigar.
And there's like he's drinking phenomenal. Jack Daniels or something.
Yeah, it's Jack. Yes, it's Jack Daniels. Yeah. Like, this movie should have won every Academy Award for that year, the year after, the year before that, maybe like 30 years before that. This movie is just, it might be the greatest movie I've ever seen.
If you like Nicolas Cage at his most Nicolas Cage, this is the movie for you.
This might define Nicolas Cage. Like, this is...
I'm going to give it 3.5 Trulies out of 5 Trulies on my drunk review Truly meter.
I'm going to give it 23.5 out of 5.
That's a interesting number. 23. MJ, that's for you. We were just in North Carolina.
I want to see Nic Cage's Willy Wonka as well, actually, Matt.
All right, well, we're going to go listen to the E.T. narrated by Michael Jackson. And yeah, everyone, you could watch Drive Angry or you could watch E.T. I don't know. Choice is yours. I know what I'd pick.
Drive Angry. Drive Angry.
Love to everyone. Carry on my wayward son. Drink out of a skull. And yeah, I will end with this dramatic reading of one of the greatest lines of this movie. Thank you, Webster. Don't think I'll be having that beer right now unless I'm drinking it out of Jonah King's skull. Good night.
And he did it. You know it.